Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of CNB Bazaar Buzz. I am your host Ameya Naik, and well, it's the end of the last fiscal year. So FY 2018-19 is now over, and now it's all about bringing in new cars till the regulations are kick in 2020. But the Q1, that is the quarter one of 2019, has been a good one for luxury car makers, with the likes of BMW in fact bringing in a strong growth with the entire group brand, right from Mini to Motorrad to even BMW itself. The 5 and 6 series have been really strong contenders and really strong sellers as well. And in fact, the X4 too is one of them. Well, we got a chance to drive the X4 in India, and here's a review with Kingshuk Datta behind the wheel. The new second generation BMW X4 came to India soon after its global debut. And while we brought you the detailed review from our drive in the US late last year, it's time to bring the India road test.
Is it a 4-door coupe or an SUV? Maybe it's a sport activity vehicle. Well, whatever it is, the BMW X4 is definitely a looker. Sporty, aggressive stance, flowing lines, the X4 commands presence, be it on the move or a parking lot. The bold front end, the chrome slat kidney grille and the steeply raked windscreen give it a very powerful look.
The BMW X4, it has proper sex appeal. The look is evocative in its truest sense. The flowing lines coupled with the chrome slatted kidney grille up front and the wide muscular haunches at the rear make for a pleasing design. So yes, the biggest design USP is the steeped rear roofline, which gives the SUV that coupe-like silhouette. Nonetheless, if you are looking for a car which gets you eyeballs, the X4 commands presence, be it on the road or even in a parking lot. BMW says that the X4 is a sports activity coupe. We will, however, stick to calling it an SUV.
We are driving the petrol engine variant of the BMW X4. It's a 2-litre unit and it makes around 248.5 brake horsepower and 350 Newton meters of peak torque. Now this petrol engine, it loves to be revved. Once you go past say 3500 to 4000 RPM, that's when the engine comes onto its own and you feel the performance and the punch. At lower revs, the performance is not that great, it's not exhilarating, but as you go past the 3500 RPM mark, that's when the sheer punch, the sheer force of the engine comes in. Also, this being a petrol engine, it's absolutely butter smooth. The engine is butter smooth and there's hardly any noise which sleeps inside the cabin. The steering, it could have done with a little more weight. Right now it's very vague, so it doesn't inspire that kind of confidence. And also if you're driving it in the city, you best put the car in comfort mode for the optimum ride quality. If you put it in sport, the dampers, the suspension stiffens up and you'll feel all the bumps. So if you're driving in the city, the best way to go about it is to put the car in comfort mode.
Once you go past 3500 RPM, that's where the wave of torque comes in. But that punch that you expect from a BMW is missing. One has to work the engine, rev hard, and only then are you able to extract a grin-inducing performance. The 8-speed ZF gearbox too works well and holds onto the gears when revving hard. It works well otherwise too, in case you want to shed speed quickly. There is enough grip from the fat Bridgestone Alenza tires and the X-Drive 4-wheel drive system that allow you to get out of corners carrying enough speed. Yes, the car holds its line, and the sporty hunkered down stance does make for a sportier ride than its X3 alter ego. The cabin is done well, using good quality materials, but the dashboard could have been a little snazzier. Considering that the X4 itself is a unique looking car. You have all sorts of creature comforts such as climate control, cruise control, panoramic sunroof, and the usual suspects like the iDrive knob, gesture control, touchscreen infotainment system, and the works. The cabin is a comfortable place to be in. With its sloping roofline, you may wonder about rear headroom. And well, yes, it's lesser than it would be on an X3. So for tall people, the headroom will seem cramped. Although thanks to the wide track and long wheelbase, the rear bench can fit 3 people quite comfortably. The prices of the BMW X4 start at 60,60,000 rupees and go up to 65,90,000 rupees for the 3-litre straight-6 diesel variant. For people who are looking to buy a mid-size SUV, and if the X3 doesn't appeal to them, then the BMW X4 definitely will. As far as driving pleasure is concerned, there are BMW SUVs which are more engaging. But the X4 with the coupe stance, well-appointed cabin and road presence is good enough to seal the deal. So the BMW X4 has a lot more competition coming in with that coupe SUV kind of stance and that very typical BMW X6-ish kind of rear. Well, it's unique in its way, and there are lovers and haters of that design. But a lot more car makers are now coming up with those kind of features. Now it's time to take a look at Volkswagen Motorsport. Well, it's been 20 years that the Volkswagen Motorsport entity has been part of India, and there is a lot of contribution that has come from that entity. Well, here's a look at what happened in those 20 years at VW Motorsport, and Seshan Vijay Raghavan was at the Madras Motor Race Track to check out that rich heritage that it now has, and here's a look at all of that. Motorsports is gaining more and more popularity in India, and Volkswagen has played a key role through its motorsport arm to boost both the rally and track race scene in the country.
So Volkswagen Motorsport is entering its 10th year in India, and to celebrate its decade-long journey, the company has invited us to the Madras Motor Race Track. Here, we'll be testing out all the race prep cars, right from the first Polo Cup TDI model to the latest rally spec cars. And we are going to show you all the action.
Volkswagen Motorsport has had an exciting journey so far. Right from its inaugural one-make championship with the Polo Cup in 2010, then entering the Indian National Rally Championship in 2013, to the latest generation, a Mayo Cup Series.
When we started off, the idea was how do we sort of showcase the best qualities of a Volkswagen, which is, reliability, fun to drive, robustness, and the safety aspect of it. So we started off with that, with the sort of added theme of being that we wanted to develop motorsport and develop talent in India for motorsport. 10 years later, I can say that we have done I would say, better than average job for us. And in terms of getting the number of people that come through every year into our one-make championship, on average, you say about 10 to 12 people every year. Then this is the 10th year. So it's 120 people that have come into motorsport that otherwise would never have been part of motorsport.
This right here is Volkswagen Motorsports' first Cup car, Apollo TDI. The car is powered by a 1.6-litre TDI engine that makes about 120 bhp and is mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox. This was developed in Germany but was bought in here and tested right here at the Madras Motor Race Track, and surely has a lot of memory.
Unlike the Polo from the first one-make championship, the latest generation Ameo Cup cars have come a long way. The race spec Ameos are designed and developed in-house at the company's Chakan facility. In fact, the company says that the car itself is just a step behind what a TCR touring car could be today internationally.
This, of course, is Volkswagen's Ameo Cup car, and compared to the older track models, this one is a lot more forgiving thanks to its custom ECU and modern electronics. The car is powered by a 1.8-litre TSI engine that makes about 200 bhp of peak power and comes with a 6-speed sequential gearbox with paddle shifters.
The Ameo is a smarter machine than the older race cars and is easier to handle even for a novice like Seshan. The powerful turbo petrol engine is certainly aggressive, but the power delivery is smooth and very progressive, so you always feel in control. Also, the car offers a much more linear torque delivery, which even if you are a bit too harsh on gas while coming out of a corner or brake late, allows you to slip off. Meanwhile, the digital console provided all the vehicle information like gear position, tachometer, lap time, oil pressure, and air and water temperature as well. Along with race cars, Volkswagen also had its rally cars on the paddocks for us, including the latest generation Polo R2. The 1.2-litre TSI engine powering the Polo R2 churns out a hefty 158 brake horsepower and comes mated to a 5-speed sequential racing gearbox with racing clutch. Unlike the race cars, the rally cars do not come with anti-lock brakes, which means you have to be extra careful while driving on the track. Unlike the Ameo, the power and torque delivery is very aggressive, so you cannot make any mistakes. Gear changes have to be precise, so also braking and throttle input. After driving all these race and rally cars of different generations, it's quite clear that Volkswagen Motorsport has continuously evolved in the last 9 years. As for what the future holds, the company is currently focused on the next season of the Ameo Cup, which will see 15 brand new drivers participating in the championship. Also, with the 1.2-litre turbocharged cars coming into the rallying scene, the company is looking forward to a lot more podium finishes. Well, it actually brings fond memories because I have in fact driven the first Polo Cup car race that was there, and there was a media race that happened and I was part of it and had real fun driving it on at Coimbatore in fact, and not Madras. But it was absolute fun and joy. Well, with that, let's take a break, and on the other side a lot more coming, so stay tuned. Welcome back after the break. This is CNB Bazaar Buzz and I'm your host Amir Naik. Well, after those two stories before, now let's move on to something that is a bit more different, a bit off the beaten track. Yes, I'm talking about off-roading, and this time around Apollo Tyres took us out on a jaunt to Karnataka, where we drove a Nexon and even the Nissan Kicks, which had the new tyres from Apollo. And yes, they say that it can do a bit of off-roading. Well, here's a look at what happened there.
Motorsports has finally started to gain traction in the country. But It's off-roading events in particular that have started to get more and more attention both from enthusiasts and automotive brands. Apollo Tyres has joined the bandwagon with its bad road buddies.
We are in Goa for the first edition of Apollo Tyres' Bad Road Buddies. This is a special event organized for the off-roading community in India and also to test out their new range of SUV tyres, the Apterra. Close to 45 teams have participated this year and we are here to show you all the action.
The two-day event saw participation from both seasoned off-roaders as well as beginners, and a total of about 100 vehicles in the convoy, all fitted with Apollo's Apterra tyres. Day 1 saw us drive over 180 kilometers from Panjim in Goa all the way to Dandeli in Karnataka, where the organizers had charted out a special off-road trail for us. For this leg of the journey, I was given the Tata Nexon, shod with the all-NAC 4G tyres. And the tyres offered decent performance both on city roads as well as highways. However, it was the mountain trail that was the real challenge for the all-NAC 4G. With loose soil, high elevation, slopes, the tyres were always in need for some extra traction. In fact, I had to be extra careful to keep up the momentum, else the vehicle would stall. Day 2 was going to be the real challenge for us, and for this leg of the journey, Apollo gave us the Nissan Kicks with the Apterra HP tyres.
Our companion, the Nissan Kicks, is wrapped in the Apterra HP tyres, and I have to say they are performing quite well, at least better than the all-NAC 4G that we drove yesterday on the Nexon. But the real test for them comes at the off-road arena that we are about to reach.
The Apterra HP tyres are essentially designed to offer better braking and handling. But here, at the off-road arena, they had to do a lot more. The track itself looked pretty technical at first, but as it turns out, the Kicks had little trouble maneuvering itself around this rough terrain. While the tyres did feel capable enough to handle some mild off-roading, the more technical areas proved that these tyres aren't meant for hardcore off-roading. Apollo's brand ambassador and cricketing legend Sachin Tendulkar was also at the event to have some off-road fun. Being an avid driver, Sachin couldn't resist trying his off-road skills on some of these specially designed tracks. Having some fun with the Apollo Tyres Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Neeraj strapped into the passenger seat. But Sachin wasn't the only one having fun. Here's what some of the participants had to say about their experience.
Hi friends, I'm Shyam. I'm from Goa, representing Vasco Cars. I've done a lot of off-roading in last 5-6 years. I'm into off-roading from last 6 years. I've been using 540 fully modified Mahindra with a Scorpio engine and a Ford Endeavour. Tyres which Apollo has newly launched are really good. We had a very soft experience. It was very nice.
It is good for newcomers. It is attractive. It is promoting off-roading and promoting motoring basically in India, and we need these type of events very often.
Being the inaugural event, Apollo wanted to make this more of an experience than in competition. The company also plans to use this opportunity to know more about the requirements of its customers and work on improving its products. The company has decided to host Bad Road Buddies every year and will be taking it across the nation to different regions like Chandigarh or even Himachal Pradesh.
Well, seeing that Nexon and that kicks going through all that slush and mud is absolutely wonderful, isn't it? And yes, it does evoke confidence in the consumer to do a bit of soft roading with those cars, though they are technically not meant to do that. Well, let's move on to something that's actually related to off-roading, because once your car gets dirty, there needs to be a place where you need to take it and make sure that it has a thorough wash. Well, Nippon Express is one place where you can go in Gurugram, and here's what they do. It's all about detailing, it's all about keeping your car clean, and King Shuk Datta has all the details for you.
If you own a car in India, you probably would have gone through the pain of seeing your car scratched or dented. And of course, have no idea how it happened in the first place. One of the struggles of owning a car in a metropolitan city are these. Minor scratches, dents, dings, which just take the sheen away from your car and leave you disheartened. But there's a way to fix all of this, and in some real quick time. Let's find out. So, we are at Bluebird Automotive in Gurgaon, with specialization in servicing luxury cars. Nippon, a Japanese auto component manufacturer, and Bluebird have come together to offer regulated, high-quality paint job and car care services in NCR, and they claim to be the fastest in the business of removing scratches, dents, etc. as well. Needless to say, we had to see it for ourselves.
Well, we have a repair system which is called Velocity Repair. So you look at as an express service when it's implemented in a body shop. That's the title of it, but the process itself called Velocity Repair. The concept behind it is that in a normal repair process, there are certain phases in a repair where there are waiting times. Now, usually in these waiting times, the employees are not necessarily doing effective work. So, in the case of velocity repair, these times are actually utilized to do another step within the same job. So we're talking about actually optimizing the repair process. Definitely this only applies to a certain limit in the size of a repair.
Nippon's Velocity Repair actually consists of 20 steps, which include washing the car thoroughly, using a degreaser which removes dirt, oil, grease and other foreign substances. Then the car or the panel that needs to be repainted gets sanded, after which the body filler is applied. Once that happens, the car is completely masked for curing the body filler, and then the affected part is sanded down again. The sanded part is again cleaned using a degreaser, and then the car is made ready for primer application. Meanwhile, the paint job specialist has already mixed the colors, and now the car is ready for base coat application, followed by clear coat mixing and application, which is followed by a trip to the spray booth, wherein the newly applied coat of paint will be cured for up to an hour at different temperatures. The cost of getting your car scratches repaired depends on the number of panels to be repainted and the number and severity of the scratches. In the case of a Hyundai Tucson, the approximate cost of the complete repair work was about 4,000 rupees for 2 sets of scratches on 2 separate panels, which were the front right fender and the front right door. So, the scratches that we pointed out earlier have completely gone, and the body panel that was repainted has this lovely sheen to it. Also, the best part is that you get the delivery of your car the very same day. If you have minor scratches on your car, it is a great excuse to go out, go shopping, go watch a movie, and by the time you're done, your car would have been magically transformed and make you fall in love with it all over again.
Well, that's it for this episode of CNB Bazaar Buzz. Hope you enjoyed that, and we really enjoy bringing all this stuff for you. And do keep your comments and your feedback coming, because we go through them and that's how we can improve. So log on to www.carandbike.com or reach us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even our YouTube channel, where we are there and where we all are quite active. So thank you for watching, and always wear your seat belts and always wear your helmets. Goodbye. See you next time.